On this episode of the Entrepreneur Mastery Lab and the Get Fed podcast, we're going to talk blind spots and awareness. We'll talk what they are, what are the most common ones business owners see, how you may be able to identify them, and how you can start to deal with them so they have less impact. And yes, of course, we'll discuss just what kind of impact they can have. Take a seat, listen up. This is a good one coming at you. Hey, Rockstars, I'm JB, expert salesperson and master presenter.
I'm the doctor, psychologist, and behavioral expert.
This is the Entrepreneur Mastery Lab podcast. What is up, everybody? I am JB and the doctor of Evolve Performance and Development. This is the Entrepreneur Mastery Lab podcast, the Get Fed podcast. Welcome. If it's your first time joining us, thank you for joining us here today. Give us a like, subscribe, follow before you leave. We do this for you. If you're a returning listener or viewer, thank you so much for coming back. Our goal here today in a quick hit episode featuring yours truly, just me, is to give you some bite-sized business insight that you can take with you and maybe even take some action on. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about blind spots and self-awareness. And I really want to take the time to define what those are, what common blind spots and issues we have with self-awareness as business owners are, what the impact of this is, what it really means when we have blind spots and we lack self-awareness. And then, of course, how we can identify the blind spots and ultimately, how can we take action on it so we can improve in this area? And we can accomplish all that within 10 minutes, man. This is a heck of a value add. And I'm really pumped to be able to do this. So let's just jump right in. Let's talk blind spots and we'll talk self-awareness. What are they? Blind spots, really simply put, it's a lack of self-awareness around certain things. Blind spots are literally, I am blind to how I am going to react to something because of my experience, because of my default behaviors and my default way of thinking, because of who I am. There are certain things that I am prone to do. And there's certain ways I'm going to look at something. And there's certain biases I am going to be at risk of having. And that means that I'm going to be blind to certain things. I'm not going to realize what I'm doing around them. And I appreciate that it's probably not the best way to define blind spots by also saying self-awareness, because I'm going to define that as well. But it's true. If I lack self-awareness, I will have blind spots. So self-awareness, pretty self-explanatory. No pun intended. However, there's two dimensions to self-awareness, and oftentimes we only think about one. We only think about the internal self-awareness. Internal self-awareness is, this is how I behave, this is how I'm going to react, this is who I am. That's internal self-awareness. External self-awareness, though, is how other people perceive me. And to have true self-awareness, you need to be able to better understand yourself, but also better understand how you're perceived, which is everybody else's reality. You know, there's more than one truth, of course. Your truth and my truth can be two different truths. What I say, what you hear can be two absolutely different things, even if the words are the same. So self-awareness and blind spots, that's what they are. So as business owners, I could argue we're as susceptible or even more susceptible to blind spots than other types of people and professionals. And that's partially because we've had success. And as in all success in life, when we learn to do something successfully, we grow confident in it and we repeat it and we start to have a little bit of confirmation bias around it, which is, this is the way to do it if we want to get it done and want to do it correctly and have success. And yet that's not always the case. And so we do deal with blind spots and we deal with bias and we deal with lack of self-awareness as business owners. And there's a few different common types of blind spots and self-awareness gaps that we deal with. There's personal blind spots, things like ego, overconfidence, hubris. There could even be lack of confidence as a problem, self-efficacy issues that we are blind to. And then there's, of course, business blind spots as well, whether it's emotional attachment to an idea or project. I have a great idea. I get attached to it. I sink cost into it and I fall victim to the fallacy of sunk cost bias. It could be that I have a work-life imbalance, which, yes, is absolutely a business blind spot that a lot of us deal with. We don't realize the impact of an imbalance in our work and life. So there's a number of blind spots that impact us. And if you're wondering, are they really that significant? Do I really need to treat this as something critical? It's been said that self-awareness is the meta skill of the modern day owner and professional. But let's just take a look at some big name companies and some of the issues they've had with bias, overconfidence bias. How about Netflix and Blockbuster? Blockbuster certainly fell victim to overconfidence. Uh, what about unwillingness to adapt and change? How about Kodak not moving to digital? How about Nokia struggling to move into the smartphone market? How about BlackBerry? How about MySpace versus Facebook way back when? There are so many instances that we can point to companies, massively successful companies, that fall victim to blind spots, whether they're business oriented or personally oriented blind spots, they fall victim to it. And it's all because of lack of self awareness. So this is crucial. This is just so important. The question then becomes, all right, I know I can, and he might even be likely to fall victim to blind spots and lack of self awareness. I know what some of them can be, and I know what these things mean. Well, then how do I really identify them? And you might think it's easy. Of course, all I have to do is think about it. I can think about how I respond. I can think about how I react and how I behave, and I can be introspective. But here's the craziest thing: studies done on introspection show that the people who are more introspective and they invest more time into being introspective have less self-awareness. It sounds crazy, but here's the caveat. Just because I can be introspective doesn't mean I'm good at it. And if I'm not good at it, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to fall victim to my own confirmation bias. I'm going to fall victim to forming conclusions that could have no basis on reality. And that can and does happen to people. And so just being introspective, just having self-reflection, just meditating on the problem is not going to solve it. This is one of the instances where you really need the help of other people to be able to solve for this. So you're not going to identify it simply by being introspective. More often than not, you need people around you to help identify it. Our suggestion is you build a team for feedback around you. When we say team of feedback, that means people not too close to you that already have opinions and biases formed, but not people too far away from you either, because they don't have enough insight into who you are and what you're doing. They need to be people relatively close to you that can give you objective, honest feedback that you're willing to hear. And all those are key. They've got to be close enough. They've got to be objective, and you have to be willing to listen. But if you do that, you'll be able to identify these blind spots. Now let's take it a step further. If I'm able to identify my blind spots or where I lack self-awareness, how do I actually get better at it? And the answer again is you're probably not going to do it on your own. The best thing that we suggest is checking out things like peer-to-peer advisory groups, masterminds, owner advisory boards. If you didn't happen to know, we are launching new owner advisory boards here in South Florida in the Tri-County area starting January 2024. The entire idea here is diverse perspectives from peers who have been through similar situations as you and have a different way to look at it. And when you can put that brain trust and that mind meld into a room, you will have your eyes opened to the power of outside perspective, which is the very best way to help not just identify the blind spots, but to minimize their impact. And I want to end on this note. Studies have shown when I gain self-awareness, I'm happier. So if you're looking to be happier and, oh, by the way, improve productivity, enhance employee retention and culture, maximize growth, then you will want to go ahead and become more urgent in how you address self-awareness and your blind spots. So come take a listen. Come join us at an owner advisory board. I hope this has been helpful. We covered blind spots. We covered what they are. We covered self-awareness, what that is, what types are common, why business owners deal with it, what their impact can be, how you can identify it, and how you can overcome it. And we did it in just under 11 minutes. That's not bad. Do me a favor again. Like, subscribe, follow. If this was useful, let us know. We'd love to hear how you've overcome blind spots and self-awareness in the past. And we wish you a very happy holiday season. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the holiday. We'll talk to you all soon. I'm JB. I'm out. And get fed.